one game at a time. We feel good right now. Every win feels good, obviously, because we work hard to get there. But it's one game at a time, and we just focus on the next opponent the next day.
And for either one of you, just talk about the matchup with St. Mary's. You've had two games of this year. You split them, and the rubber match is tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely exciting. Definitely ready for that rematch. We didn't handle business last time, but this time we're going to be ready, and we know what we got to do, and we're prepared. We're doing the proper steps that we need. We're going to recover, rest, recover, do film, everything we need, and we're going to be ready for tomorrow.
Elijah, is the team's confidence level must be pretty high.
Yeah, but I feel like our confidence is always high. We worked really hard during practice, and we're ready for whatever.
Herb, what did you see tonight that you liked?
I thought our guys played with great toughness. That's a good basketball team that we just played, and another clear reflection of how strong our league is. We had to offset a spectacular performance by Elias Ralph and give Pacific a lot of credit. They had a hell of a year, and tonight the game was fought tooth and nail. There wasn't much breathing room on either end, and our guys, to their credit, found a way, and I think the discovery was made through their toughness, and not to imply the Pacific wasn't.
So a game like tomorrow, Herb, is it nerve-wracking, or is it fun, or is it both?
We don't have the luxury of going into those kind of rooms. Right now we have a short turnaround, and our focus needs to be on the things that we can control, our preparation and our recovery, and just have the mindset this group has always had. They're very much a present moment, here and now team, and we're not, when you're in the arena, you just don't have the luxury to entertain a lot of outside emotions or commentary.
What did you learn about your team and about this matchup with St. Mary's in the first two games? Had different results, obviously, but what did you come out of that
every
with?
Every game is its complete and own story. There may be some lessons learned both ways, right? So I thought they made some really nice adjustments from game 2 to 1. Nobody prepares better than they do, right? I mean, they're renowned for that. And we'll look at the last two games from our perspective and see what we could possibly address, and go play tomorrow. But, the third game is going to be independent of the first two. It's going to start 0-0 tomorrow, and the game will have things that none of us can predict right now.
Thomas Dunn, unofficial WC Hoops podcast. Elijah, you walked in here. You guys are talking about rebounding. Pacific is a really good rebounding team. Can you just describe the battle that it took and kind of the team effort it took to eventually win the boards?
Yeah, like you said, they're a good rebounding team, but we knew that we had to go out there and play hard and scrap out all the rebounds that we can get, and offensively and defensively, and it showed that we did that today, so it was good.
And Alan, the stats may not do him justice, but I thought you and Sosh were working together pretty well. He was probing well and eventually kicking out to you guys. What have you kind of noticed about his development over the course of the season, eventually how he kind of put together a solid game tonight?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like you said, the stats wouldn't show it, but he was definitely a key piece in our win tonight. And, him finding the assist, knocking down shots, and he's definitely came a long way from the beginning of the season to now. And I think we all have, in a sense, we building that confidence. Our program does a great job of building confidence in players and just continue to keep us, encouraged every time we do something. Coach does a great job of that. We all, as players, we all come together, we support each other, and we always will.
Any questions for the student athletes? Question for Coach? All right, student athletes, you can go.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Coach, you mentioned the story being different each and every game against St. Mary's. In the second game, minus 30 on the glass. What's the initial message to, as a team, corral it?
Well, year over year, St. Mary's is one of the elite rebounding teams in the country. And so I don't think anybody was surprised by their performance on the glass. From our standpoint, obviously, that can't happen again, right? But it wasn't just a function of rebounding, right? We were put in rotations that facilitated their rebounding, right? It wasn't that our guys weren't trying to block out or go after the ball. That's not what the film says. We, on a number of possessions, were displaced in ways that advantaged them in rebounding. And on top of it, not to downplay the rebounding massacre in game two, we literally had two in our hands that we dropped out of bounds. So, things are never as good or as bad as they may seem. We had other issues in the game in addition to the rebounding, and some of those issues are connected.
One of those items to take care of against St. Mary's tomorrow, that they had really good downhill play, both Dent and Lewis. In the last game, what's the hardest part about corralling two ball handlers who can get downhill at the point of attack?
Yeah, well, they do a great job with their pick and roll game. They're masters at reading the coverage, finding where you're vulnerable, and they play with great vision and purpose, and they tack accordingly. So it's like if you do this, then they do that. If you do this, then they do that. So it's a game of cat and mouse to some degree. But, what they do on one hand is relatively simple, but on the other hand, they do it's relatively complex, right? Because they have so many, they just have a great ability to take apart whatever you're doing.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, everyone.